Peace to the world. Peace, love, and light. Welcome back, y'all. What's good? Peace, peace. I'm about to be joined by a good brother, right? We're going to be doing an interview. So I just want to give y'all the heads up. You know what I'm saying? I'm tapping in. So you can bring the good brother and knock this interview out.
Yo, peace, family.
Peace to the God. Peace, love, and light. What's good with you, bro?
How you feeling, man?
And I'm amazing.
Yeah, man. Another busy day out there on that field.
It is. It was a busy day today. But you know, this is what it is. It's gonna be.
Exactly.
It's going to be. This is gonna be an unprecedented busy week. There's no breaks, and I actually need a break. You know what I'm saying?
I know the feeling. I literally just got finished with a photo shoot, and now we just tap right into here immediately. So, you know, your audience is familiar. Well, for my audience that's watching this, I wanted to talk about our Jubilee year, and I wanted to talk about the importance of it. So I wondered if you can go back and tell the story of what happened to you on the winter solstice when you got the message from the sun when you was on the Chinese bus, and then we can set it up today to talk about the Jubilee and the upcoming summer solstice that's coming up in a couple of days.
All right. Well, I'll scale it back just a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to go too far back.
Mm-hmm.
But in April, right, or the end of March of last year, April in particular, right after Nipsey made transition, you know, we started engaging in the conversation about, you know, this brother having messianic energy and a messianic force. Now, I didn't grow up in the church. I'm not religious, but my name is Paul. You know what I'm saying? So, in order to find out certain things about myself, I had to delve into those realms and do that research as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I read the Bible maybe twice myself, and you know, I thought it was an interesting piece of literature. You know, in regards of how it set up these stories that I was able to even go back in antiquity and find out where they borrowed some of their narrative from.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, being part of the conscious community, I done sat in every debate, so I've heard every explanation in interlooping way that you can possibly imagine to flip that narrative, right?
Yeah.
But I also know that, you know, if I ask you what today's date is, what are you going to tell me?
If I tell you what's today's date, well, I'm immediately going to be selfish and think about me and Pac's birthday.
I know, but what's the date?
June 16th.
2020, right? So that automatically puts you within the scope of which we call the Jesus Christ narrative, right? Nobody is outside of it because you can't tell me what the time in the day is. The coordinates of your reality don't register as part of this reality. You are part of somebody else's reality. If you're saying today is June 16th, 2020, then that's part, you know, you're acknowledging that you exist within the scope of that reality, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right? With my man Buddha Cleans called the Jesus Crisis narrative, right? Mm-hmm. So I see somebody like Nipsey, right, who I personally knew, and I watched his trajectory for 10 years. I've seen him transform into who he always knew that he was going to become. Because I kid you not, you know, when I met him,
you met him back in like 2009, 2010, right?
2007.
Oh man,
I did a whole lot of listening. You know what I'm saying? Because his mind was just intelligent already. He was like 19 years old, but he was bright as a light. For the very first time, I'm like, shit, maybe I could just learn and not be the teacher. And I'm learning from this young brother. His vision was crazy. You know what I'm saying? He had took me to an empty lot in the city, and he was like, "What you see?" And I was like, "I see an empty lot." He's like, "I see a building." I was like, "Okay." You know, and he started explaining to me about his trip to Eritrea that he took with his father and how it helped in his transformation. So fast forward, you know, this brother dies at the age of 33 on the last day of March. My grandfather would always tell me that April 1st was always the first day of the astrological new year. Like, this when nature starts.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So in my mind, I'm like, shit, he died on the last day of the cycle, age 33. Brother's a Leo, right? Which is a lion. Which is the sun. His connection, the correlation to the sun kicks in. He has a
It's a
messianic.
phenotype as well.
He has a phenotype. His people come from Eritrea, which is Ethiopia, in so many words. You know what I'm saying? He is, you know, like I said, if the mythological or whatever Jesus was to come to the planet, he would have to go to one of the most underserved areas on the planet in order to serve the people. It would be Los Angeles, right? And in Los Angeles, it would be South Central. I seen this man extend the options on children's lives where just having a wicked jump shot or slinging crack rock wasn't your only option. Now he has shown them that you can start your own clothing store. You can get into cryptocurrency. You can create a workspace. You know, what's the definition of a savior? Somebody who extends life on somebody else's life or saves them from a predicament, technically in the classical sense, is a savior.
Absolutely.
We don't have to get so far flung with this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody who's going against the grain or whatever the agenda of the program is, you know what I'm saying, and fighting against this system, that's a savior. That's somebody with messianic force.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because it could have went the other way. So when I seen that, I said, yo, that's a heralding or a sign of things to come. That might not be the Christ itself, but the Christ is in all of us. That's what my master teachers taught me.
I mean, just like American Gods, they had all those different versions of the Jesus archetype. So it's real. I think it also depends on your perspective. You know, the white Jesus, the hippie Jesus, the Jamaican Jesus. It all comes from your perspective.
I'm saying, look, ain't nobody going into the neighborhoods concerned with them children, right?
Yeah.
In them hoods, right? So anybody who such as him who stayed there, set an example, went against the current, went against the grain, and put his shit down in cement. You feel me? That's somebody that we should acknowledge. We can't see it maybe ourselves, but I was looking at it from a different perspective.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, this is lining up to be very interesting. And I got into my metaphysical bag and I was just looking for things to come.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, fast forward, in December, I'm on a China bus on winter solstice coming down from New York, a 16-hour ride, and the sun woke me up. You know, it was cascading on my face, and I got up, and I'm looking out the window, and the sun is just like, yo, like Rodney Dangerfield, like it gets no fucking respect, you know. It's like, you know, people is getting ready for Christmas, and the sun wasn't in the feelings. It was just like, please tell my story.
Yeah.
Don't knock Christmas and Jesus. Don't even get into all of that, you know, because the conscious community, they'll bash something
Bash
bad
Christmas.
just to make a
That's
point.
white man's and
Yeah, and the song was just like, tell my story. Like, allow people to appreciate what I do for the world. You know what I'm saying? And I do it every day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you were saying the other day, yo, everything else prostrates, everything else bows, everything else acknowledges what the sun do. The fucking birds be out, the insects is out. You know, man is repugnant. He gets up, wipes his ass, blows his nose. He don't say thank you to the sun. You know what I'm saying?
He mad that it's too hot outside.
Yeah, he complain it's too hot. Yo, the fucking sun needs to dial down. I got things to do. I can't sweat my jury out.
Man, listen.
Stupid shit, right?
Yeah.
So man is so removed from his appreciation, you know what I'm saying, of one of the most vital life forces, you know, in this universe, right? Which is the sun. And I'm not a sun worshiper. I'm not saying that the sun is God.
But I mean, we can look at it and see what it does for us.
But
Look
yeah,
at what it does for our food.
what it do. So the sun was like, yo, I need to get some respect on my name. And it was like, yo, it compelled me to get on my pen. So I just started writing, you know what I'm saying, the story and the narrative of the sun while I was on that bus. And I was just like, yo, in the midst of it all, I'm getting the downloads, and the son is like, look, I got some big things coming up this year. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is gonna be, you know, the year where they all acknowledge and pay homage, you know what I'm saying, to this solar entity, to this force. And I had already recorded a project called Christ Consciousness. I shot a
I peeped
movie
that.
for it, you know, a whole album. I shot a whole visual album, you know, movie and everything for it.
I seen the visuals for that. Yeah, I seen
So
the visuals for that.
yeah, it was like, yo, this is gonna be the year of Christ consciousness. Like, this is gonna be the year that people are gonna, you know, bear witness. You feel me? And then I also had knowledge already from getting back into, you know, studying the whole overlaying and overlapping biblical aspect of things. God damn, son. For real. So I knew that we had, you know, passed the Jubilee, right?
Mm-hmm.
I said, now, if our people, whether we are technically in the book or not, 85% of melanated people in this country self-identify themselves as Christians, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So if we've given so much energy to this particular religion, right? And you know, our nanas have put prayers on us, you know what I'm saying, and have done everything else. They have a symbiotic relationship with that book, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So I said, shit, if you've invested so much into that book and you can choose where you find yourself or place yourself in that book, you know, melanated people be like, oh, that's us. 400 years in bondage in a foreign land, X, Y, and Z. So they would, you know, that would mean that would come out of Canaanites, and they are the children of this and the children of that. So it fits them under that particular designation, and it lines up perfect with 400 years in servitude that they experienced, you know, with the 1619 project that just passed in August 20th of last year.
Yep, I'm gonna be talking about that.
So I said, shit, once you get past that, now this is your Jubilee year, right? This is what the book says. Then you celebrate the Jubilee. The Jubilee is about partying, but it's also about removal of debt, right?
Yeah, we are seeing that
Right.
all throughout society. We're seeing that all
Right.
throughout society.
No, we see it now, but last year we didn't see that. It was just starting. The partying started in December, though, right? When they had the year of return, and melanated people, the children of the sun, right? Remember, sun and gold is synonymous. The children of the sun went back to the Gold Coast. So they went from the Western Hemisphere back to the Western coast of Africa, which is called the Gold Coast, right?
Oh, yeah.
Celebrated from whence they came, and Ghana clocked $1.9 billion in under a month.
$1.9 billion. Goddamn.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay, well, and somebody said that the Jubilee year happens every 40 years. And that, again, go back and read the Bible about what they said was supposed to directly follow the freeing up of the particular slaves from 400 years of servitude. I didn't write the book. Somebody named Paul did, but I ain't write the book. I'm just reinterpreting it for what I see, right? So we experienced this Jubilee year. We on the way to a big celebration. And then the coronavirus happened. So I'm like, oh, corona, that's sun. Virus, that's anti-life. So what are they saying? This is the antichrist or the anti-sun?
Mm-hmm.
You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I was tracking it from December, just looking at it play out. And I'm like, this is going to be interesting. I said, look, this is going to not necessarily just be airborne, but the minute it hits the ocean or the waters, because they were saying, yo, we identified it in a fish market, right? Then they said, at first they said it came from a snake. Then they said a fish. And then they was talking about the bat. So I said, okay, well, the fish, that's a motif for the Pisces, and Pisces is a motif for Jesus. You know what I'm saying?
And that's kind of
The
the age
whole,
that we're moving. We're kind of moving out of that age now and into the Aquarius.
yeah. This is so many stories and narratives and symbolisms, you know, that are speaking about us moving into this new epoch or this new age, and old systems have to fall for new systems to rise. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, we're just observing this shit. It's just an observation. But once you finish your jubilee, then you go into your coronation. You know what I'm saying? So the sun was like, look, you know, I'm gonna be the strongest that I've ever been this year because this is the jubilee. The children of the sun are gonna be redeemed, and I'm going to, you know, reach my most majestic station in Leo, which is gonna be in August, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then come to find out, we have two solar eclipses, major
Yep.
ones. We had one the day after Christmas, December 26th. There was the Ring of Fire solar eclipse. And then we're going to have another Ring of Fire solar eclipse on Sunday, on Father's Day, the first day of Cancer, which is Mother, right? But it's also Father's Day. And who's the benefactors? The children of the sun,
Yep.
right? Hallelujah. Amen. Again, I ain't a fucking Christian. But
But
shame on the fucking Christians. Nobody else can come up with this narrative and see this shit for what it is
when
and give
you
the people what they need,
exactly,
which is some bars to be like, oh, I'm unapologetically optimistic. So that's why I framed myself this year to say I'm unapologetically optimistic. I don't care what's going on outside.
facts.
Feel me?
I
I'm going to
remember
receive the glory.
I remember when you first started touching on this knowledge about the Jubilee and the 400 years. So I was like, all right, well, let me go back and see what he's talking about. And I started to read it, and I started to find myself. I remember 2012, you know, the whole when we were actually in the year 2012. I remember saying all these things were going to happen, and I just remember observing things, and I'm just like, wait, all the things that they said was going to happen in 2012 are happening now.
Right.
And
So
then also,
yeah.
I'm gonna cut your wisdom, but
Yeah.
do you know what happened during July of actual 2012? How we had them 3 big CMEs that actually that came towards Earth, and that the scientists said this happened. I think it was July. It was either the 26th or the 13th, but in 2012 there were 3 CMEs that came from the sun, and they said the CMEs were bigger than the Earth, and through some intervention, like literally, it missed us to like 100,000 miles. That story didn't come out to like 2015.
You got to send me that, bro.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, this is
So
yeah.
yeah, let's touch on that because okay, so this year they were saying right during coronavirus, they said they was trying to knock my hustle. They said, oh, this is gonna be a solar minimum. So every 11 years, the sun cycle goes into a solar minimum. So science was saying it's gonna be the weakest year ever for the sun, right? And I interpret that to mean, oh, they got niggas on lockdown, right? Dr. Reverend Valentine calls it the light cold lockdown.
I remember him talking about that. I feel like we're living through some of his through some of his lectures
We
sometimes.
living through Bobby's lectures. We living through Delbert's lectures. We're living through Phil's lectures, right? The master teachers, and you know, this time has qualified the pricelessness of a Dr. Sabi, the pricelessness even of a Nipsey Hussle. Think about it. Nipsey would have had the anthem at these protests. Nipsey would have been the bridge between the streets and consciousness.
Yes.
Nipsey would have been effective, right? Nipsey would have been leadership during this time. Shout out to Lil Baby. He came through with the alley-oop. You know what I'm saying? It was slam dunk. But, and shout out to YG. He got an anthem too. But Nipsey would have been...
He was at the forefront of that.
Right? He'd have been at the forefront.
Yeah.
So this is where you really see what a loss looks like. This is when the gaping hole, just like, you know, we feeling it today, remembering Pac, you know what I'm saying? Pac would have been at the forefront. Pac would have been a vital piece.
Oh man, my theory is they were always. I feel like they would have tried to kill Pac again. Like I feel like I don't want to speak that to you. I feel like that man was so powerful, and the things that he was trying to do, and the organization, and the amount of people that believed in him, they would have tried to kill him again.
I mean, it would have been a different world, period, if Pac was alive. So we can't even hypothesize about who would have done what, or what would have happened, because the whole world would have been different. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah, a lot of shit would not have been going on if we had the militance and the diligence of a Pac, you know. But let me touch on the solar minimum. So the solar minimum was science saying that they have, it's like we registered no activity from the sun this year. The sun is dead. It's like that translation is niggas are not about that life. They not putting up no numbers on the board, right? We got him in a bag, and it's about to be a wrap, right? We're gonna put him in a box.
Mm-hmm.
We already got them in one box. We gonna put them in a final box, right? Because remember, it was orchestrated by the box master himself, the Xbox master himself,
Yep.
Bill Gates, who
The
founded
gates.
Microsoft on April 4th, 1975, who stepped down after 44 years. So they just running the whole box game, right?
Mm-hmm.
People. But then boom, on May 29th, they registered the biggest CME that they have registered since October 2017. And what happened in October 2017? The red sun in the red sky, right? You can look it up, right? Where the whole sky turned red and
I
the
feel like
sun
I got notes on
red,
this already.
right? That was the last. So if that CME was that big to do it to the sun like that and do it to the atmosphere,
Mm-hmm.
what you think this CME did? This CME was a direct expression of melanated people, in particular the youth, right? Not having no fear.
Yeah.
Getting out there and burning shit up. Now, I'm not sitting here advocating, damage to property, because that's all that is at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But it was an expression. It was an outlet, right? And for a social scientist such as myself, I can sit back and say, oh, it's signs of life.
I remember we was talking about the
They're
chakras.
not, yeah, they're not crippled in
Yeah.
their, they're not crippled. They're not stuck in their root chakra, and they're not crippled in a sacral chakra. You know what I'm saying? They alive. You know what I mean? They don't have fear, and that's a good thing. You know?
You know, and it's interesting because they don't. I mean, they have the perspective of hindsight to be able to look at the past and all that. But I feel like some of them just look at the past and just like, yo, we're not falling for we're not doing that again. This is not going to be the civil rights 2.0, because we didn't really end up with much after the civil rights. And I think, yo, this generation, like, yo, we're not with the shits, man. That's not happening again. Well, I definitely feel you on that.
Yeah. So we we're moving into summer.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be another Ring of Fire solar eclipse on Sunday, right? First day of Cancer, which also happens to be Father's Day, right? What better eclipse? What better eclipse? What better solstice? The solstice is the perfect balance between night and day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or the masculine and feminine principles. So this is a divine fucking day. You
Mm-hmm.
understand? And this sets up August 21st, right? Or August 20th, August 21st, which will be the coronation period when the melanated people are now going to receive the keys back to the kingdom,
Mm-hmm.
so they can take their rightful place. The black man can take his throne, and the throne is the black woman,
Oh,
right?
is that?
As a divine, collaborative entity, right? Protecting the children. Now, I could just be all in my motherfucking mind and just having these whimsical thoughts that this is what I want to see, but this is what I know.
No, but there's a line in the Bible that's talking about when you get the keys to the father's house.
Yeah, to your father's mansion,
The
right?
father's mansion. Yeah. So I mean, it's lining
Right.
up.
And like I said, Leo is the most elevated station in that particular mansion, right? That's the epoch, right? This represents masculine energy and masculine power. This represents the king of kings, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we coming into that, and that's going to lead up to December 21st, 2020, right? And that's when it's going to all shake, rattle, and roll. Feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So let's also talk about the fact that, like I said, since I've been talking my shit, then here they go. Here science goes. Because they didn't say who said it, but they just came out and they had to re-edit the Mayan calendar to be like, oh, my bad.
Oh, and this week, the world end this week.
It wasn't December 21st, 2020. It's this week,
Yo, bro,
during the Corona rising.
did you see what A.R. Rashid just posted on his page?
No, I didn't.
Oh man, so they're out right outside the atmosphere, quote unquote, and they're doing like a spacewalk. When I'm telling you, there you see right in plain sight a huge mothership right there, and it's not like it's just passing by. It's like they got the camera like on a spaceman in a spacesuit, and you see a big mothership, and you say, "Yo, what's that? What's that? What's that? What's that?" Yeah, when you get get a chance, check out AR Rashid's page. Yeah, it's right there. They just said that. I read in Forbes today that 36 intelligent alien civilizations.
Yeah, I got that. I got all that.
Yo, like
So
every.
it's you know, it's all coming to pass. You
That's
know,
what,
like I said it would, but we in for a lot more this year. You know what I mean? We this is only the 6th month. Like this shit is about to shake, rattle, and roll for
now
real.
we're really about to get
Right.
into it. I remember you were saying like the Gemini was like the make it or break it month.
Yes. You know, based on what I was, once again, this is all based on high level observations. Shout out to my brother 19 Keys for coining that phrase. But I'm just looking at celestial cycles. So I said, shit, if coronavirus is dealing with the lungs, you know what I'm saying? I said, wait till we get in the season that governs the lungs, and that's gonna be the make it or break it. We'll see what this shit is really hitting for. You know, and Gemini is dealing with the messengers, the twins. We are in a twin year. This is 2020. This is a mirror year. They found mirror galaxies. They said they told you one galaxy goes reverse retrograde, also dealing with Mercury. You know what I'm saying? And they told you that right when we came into Gemini season, that they found a whole dimension that goes retrograde. Nobody put that together. And I'm like, right, well, watch, they're gonna run with these bars. And then they turned around and said, oh, now we found the mirror galaxy that's identical, or mirror Earth, a mirror Earth with what did they say? The sun and the moon.
I'm pretty sure they said they found another sun in identical. They had another sun. They had another sun. So it's, and I don't even.
So, you know, I'm just like,
every day.
I got so much information. It's just
Yo,
again.
I got the kind of like the opposite of writer's block because there was so much going on. I'm just like, yo, I can't keep up. Like it's to the point where
I got the opposite. I got all of these goddamn.
Yo, bro, I feel you. Yo, I'm gonna say.
I can't even. I'm like, where do we start? You feel me?
Where do we start? That yo, bro, I feel you. I'm gonna.
Right, I'm gonna do my 20 billion this year though. Right.
Yo, bro, I feel you. Yo, it's just the notes
so
on top of notes.
Yeah, it's just so much. It's like.
Yeah, it's notes on top of notes. I was working on
no day takes off. So there's no days off. The calendar is taking no days off. So if I think that I got a handle on shit, like I'm gonna get it done today, and a day dumps 9-10 stories on top, and you gotta go and reframe and remodel your whole dissertation to start fitting slides in and shit like that. And I'll be like, man, I did a lecture earlier this year called Victory Lap 2020, and I'm like, shit, in February, I think. Yeah, I did it on February 13th on the 44th day. And I'm like, whoever caught that, you caught prophecy, but whoever missed that, I feel for you. You know what I'm saying? Because there's not enough time to stop and go back.
There's new
and
stuff
it's like,
every single day.
Yeah, and like, if something is 2 months old, it's wild old. Like, you got to get the whole upgrade.
I'm writing this article. At first, it started at 8. And I was like 8 things that happened since Gemini season happened that you should keep your eye on. That went from 8 to 10 to 12. I'm at 19 things that have happened since Gemini season that you should keep your eye on. It's just like by the time I get it out by tomorrow, this is gonna probably be like a whole nother 19 things that's going on, like the 5th dimension.
Yeah, I don't know when to advantageously take advantage of, my insight or my prophecy. It's just so much going on. That has been confirmed though. You know what I mean? It's
yes.
This is a slow disclosure.
I feel like this is a slow disclosure because all the things that's coming out, I feel like this is like, like those puzzle pieces that got like 500 pieces on it. If you just put one of the puzzle pieces on there, you can't see what it makes out. So I feel like they're just slowly putting the pieces together. And if you just step back, you can kind of see the bigger picture because 5th dimension, alternate universes that's mirrored this, 36, like they're slowly, they just came out. there's 30 new planets that just found out. We're finding more habitable planets in the in the Goldilocks zone. And it's just like, y'all are just saying without saying it. Yeah. We made contact. We made contact. For me, I would not be surprised.
How are they saying there's 36 forms of extraterrestrial life? Where? Who? And how you know? How you come up with that number?
36?
And
That's mad specific.
yeah. Like, what, you know, so December 21st, 2020 is the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction, right? The Jupiter-Saturn conjunction. November 13th, the day before my born day, is the Saturn-Jupiter-Pluto conjunction at 22 degrees Capricorn. Shout out to our brother Ross Ben, who put a video out called The Year of the Great Conjunctions. He put that out in November of last year. It's all prophetic right now. Certified classic.
Is that on Know the Ledge?
It's on YouTube. Ross Ben, RASBEN. Yeah. He got a scorcher out right now, you know, dealing with the mysteries of Philadelphia, where he starts dissecting the yellow fever. I mean the Spanish flu, my bad.
That was 100. That's part of like the
100 years ago. Yeah. So you gotta see that, y'all. You gotta understand, you know what I'm saying, what the second wave is gonna entail.
That's what I was, because I actually, that's one of the first papers I wrote was about the 100-year cycle, and I've seen every time it's always the second wave that seems to be worse. So now, you know, this wave, and it's part natural, because when you look at history, every 100 years something like this happens. You know, Mother Earth decides, all right, so y'all gotta go, like y'all gotta go.
Yeah.
But with this, things just lined up too perfectly with this, with Event 21. I remember seeing when Trump first went into office, Fauci said there is going to be I'm paraphrasing, but he essentially said there's going to be like a surprise pandemic or health crisis. Like, how is a surprise going to be? Like, come on, bro.
Yeah, he was guaranteeing it, right?
Guaranteeing it. I guarantee a pandemic.
Yeah.
But the 100-year cycle, I think they played off that, because the 100-year cycle, things like that, they naturally do occur.
So, you know, the saying goes, once you know the heavens, you know the earth. You feel me? There's going to be no other way to get around this. You have to, gotta tap into these cosmic cycles and this astrology, cosmophysics, as Rahu calls it. You got to see the relationship. You know, there's going to be another eclipse on July the 4th. Peace, bro. You got to know
that's why
melanated people's relationship is to the sign of Cancer. You got to know what melanated people's relationship is to this country.
Yeah.
Right? And why, if melanated people are the sign of Cancer, why is this country's birth date under Cancer? What is your date with destiny in this country? Black men and black women, Moorish man and Moorish woman. You know, do you know what you're looking at? Do you know what you're dealing with? You know, we live in so many overlapping timelines right now.
Yeah.
1492 is back in effect. 2012 is back in effect. 1968 is back in effect. 2017 is back in effect.
The 90s is back in effect.
The 1995 is back in effect.
Yeah.
You feel me? 1999 is back in effect. 2001 is back in effect.
Can you touch a little bit on the 2001?
Well, this is a 19-year cycle from 9/11.
Oh, okay,
right?
okay, yep.
Just with the George Floyd situation, with all of those twins popping up in that incident, and him dying at 8:40, him being killed or murdered or assassinated in 8 minutes and 46 seconds. That's the time that the first plane flew into the North Towers.
Yep. And then in Minnesota.
And then you go to D.C. and you see the Washington Monument get struck, right?
By two
lightning strikes, and that is the Tower card in that Illuminati deck, right? So, you know, when you look at Freedom Tower, right? Out of two was born one. They dropped those twin towers and they built one of them, right? That singular obelisk, that singular Tekken, right? And Kemet, the Tekkens came in twins. They came in twos.
Mm.
You feel me?
I didn't know that.
I could, yeah. So, you know, there's so many connections and correlations. Even George Floyd, you know,
Being a twin.
not only him being a twin, his name was twin because there's a football player that was born December 21st, 1960, that has the same name as him, was a football player, wore number 8,
Mm.
right? And he's born December 21st. So again, like I said, this shit, it shadows and it brings in the whole fucking calendar grid. This is gonna be a year unlike any other. And strap on because, like I said, it's really gonna rock. I got the download December 21st,
Mm.
2019. That shit was setting me up for December 21st, 2020. Where the
Mm.
sun was guaranteeing me, like, look, my nigga, I am going to show my ass this year. Right? They're gonna see aliens, Jesus, all that shit.
I was gonna say
I don't,
I
yeah,
wouldn't be
I don't mean
surprised.
Jesus, but I mean you're gonna see Christ consciousness. You're gonna see messiahs come from amongst the people, come from amongst the most unexpected places.
Yeah.
The underdogs are going to become the top dogs.
I mean,
You're gonna see that.
I know you get calls and people all the time, but all of a sudden, you know, all this COVID stuff has been going. I have had family members and friends that had their heads so far in the dirt call me, what's that Seymour stuff that you was talking about before? You know, I was watching this video and I remember you kind of talking about this. What was that hidden color stuff that you was on? I'm getting so many of those calls. So many people
Yeah,
out the
I mean,
woodwork.
the aliens are already revealed. It's not that they're gonna be revealed; they're
They
already
already here.
revealed.
Facts.
And it's like, what are you again? This, I don't want to make it personal, but it's like 2020 is going to come down to your vision, your discernment, what you see and how you decipher it in your own personal space. Because the people that are looking at TV and lies are being told to your vision. Shit, people are looking at the George Floyd footage and they can't make sense of it.
Yeah.
Right?
There are some things that are,
The
you know, out of
vision is
respect for
very
his family,
deceptive. You don't know what you're looking at these days.
a lot of
You
psyops.
feel
Tons
me?
of psyops.
There's super psyops going on, right? But Pentagon shows you the craft. There's sightings every single day. You can
Hey,
go on YouTube and see them.
they don't ever talk about that. I mean, of course, I know they're not going to talk about that, but I mean, there's so many sightings all the time. I did an interview with a woman from Australia, and like after we got off, we was talking to DM, and I forgot. I don't know how we got into it, but she started saying like, you know, I just looked out my window in the middle of the day, and I just seen some things in the sky. And I'm just like, oh, shit.
We was in the mountains. I'm
Uh,
not gonna say what state we was in on Sunday. There was craft. There was dumbing out in the skies because it's pitch black out there.
yeah,
There ain't no cover of light. You get to
they ain't
see
got
everything.
no light pollution.
They was buck wilding,
Yeah.
right? Somebody before we even started this live, they see footage. They in South Africa, buck wilding, right? Crafts is everywhere, right? But how are people gonna internalize it for themselves? I hadn't had contact with crafts. This is my 10-year anniversary.
You're right.
June 25th, right? The day that Michael Jackson made transition.
Mm-hmm.
The year after that, I had full-fledged contact with the mothership.
I remember you
Lasted
telling me
from
that.
1:30 a.m. to 6:30 in the morning. I was getting downloads and I was having, it's like a whole beam, a frequency was on me and I was just getting downloads and interactions with them. And I got witnesses, and a craft followed me every single day that entire summer. And I showed all the deep niggas what was going on and none of them was ready for it. And that shit hurt my heart. My
Man,
heart is hurt to this
I
day.
remember bumping into you in the park. I think it was 2016. It was you and Supernova Slime was over there, and that's when you was telling me about your encounters with the craft and all that. And I was telling you how when I was a little kid, I'll never forget it. Walking, I remember the time, everything 4:05. I went into the refrigerator, grabbed some Tropicana orange juice, drank it straight from the carton, and all the trees on the side of the house were blowing super hard. But in the front of the house, none of the trees were blowing. I look out of the window, I see orange and yellow lights flashing, flashing, flashing. As soon as I like open the window and look up, the trees are blowing hard. I mean, they're blowing hard, but there's no sound. No sound. Open up the window and look, everything just stops. I can't recall what happened after that, but I just remember waking up in the morning. But I remember, I'll never forget that. 4 or 5 orange camp. I will never forget that. I will never, ever forget that. And then honestly, as a shameless plug, tapping into this, and with the smart moss and with the 44 breathing meditate, man, listen, man. Them downloads out in that sun, woo!
The first time I had gold, it was June 25th, 2010. The same night that I had that encounter is when that was the very first time. Back then? Yeah, my plug had brought me my first, bottle of liquid gold, of monatomic gold, and I might have took too much of that shit. Because my pioneer, I was coiling on a different frequency, and I went out there. We was in front of the Metropolitan Museum, sitting on that limestone. I had just came back from Serpent Mound, so I had dirt from Serpent Mound. I had minerals, different stones. I had my walking stick, and on the way back from Serpent Mound, we had stops. I was with Ampu and somebody else. We stopped at a convenience store, but they had a mound in the back. I was running up the mound and something was calling me. There was a skull that was making clicking sounds in the middle of a forest. Now, what's the chances of that? I run up the mound and run straight into this fucking skull that's making clicking noises. Like, yo, the aerodynamics on this fucking skull, can't nobody tell me that wasn't no goddamn alien ancestor.
Yeah.
So I had all of that shit with me in front of the Met, and them motherfuckers showed up, goddamn it, and they stayed just downloading, just giving me bad information. And I like I said, every single day after that, for the entire summer, they would follow me. Right, I would get off the train on Rutland, and they would follow me right till I got to my crib, and they were stationed over my crib. Right. The young lady I was with at the time, I used to show her, she would get spooked. Everybody was getting spooked. My cousins and them was getting spooked. I brought the shit to Gates Avenue.
Wow. I mean, I got introduced into consciousness a weird way. Honestly, I remember I was watching David Icke videos with Credo Mutua.
Credo Mutua, yeah.
And to me, everything just made sense because I was heavy into the ancient aliens. I was like, oh, aliens, but I always felt like there was a part missing. And then that's when I came into consciousness, like, oh, we were the part that was missing from all that. So yeah, that to me that makes sense.
I was reading David Icke, from 2000, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I used to be like, this nigga's lying. I was like, it's something that he's holding back, but I don't expect him to tell our story.
Yeah, he's not gonna tell our story. Yeah.
Not only is he not, he can't.
He can't, because he have to. That would be an admittance of guilt. That would be.
It's not only that. It's not his story to tell. So when I seen him bring in Credo, and Credo was talking that talk, I was like, okay, this is more like it. I'm like, David Icke ain't talking this shit. He ain't backing it up, right? You give him the mic, he's gonna rewind it and go all the way back, right? Like Zachariah Sitchin talking about 7-foot, pale-skinned aliens with blue eyes and shit. And every time he talk about reptilian in his book family, he talking about melanated people.
Yep.
That is their code word. And I figured that shit out on my own.
I can't remember the dude's name. Ah, man. I remember. Are you familiar with David Wilcock?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't even know why I asked that. He was doing. I don't even know why I asked that.
No. Yeah.
He was doing an interview with somebody. He was an insider, and they was talking about how when they stepped off the spaceship, literally quoting him, the big black gods stepped out, and they talking about how they were 10 feet, and like not just black like me. I mean like pure black, just black. You know what I'm saying? So I think,
like I said, think the ancestors did. I had got introduced to Delbert Blair right after that.
Mm. Mm.
And Delbert Blair qualified everything that I ever wanted or needed to know. So, no disrespect.
But like you said, it wasn't
Hold on.
his
Yeah,
story. It's not his story to
yeah.
tell. It's not
David, yeah.
David Wilcox's story to tell, or Michael
David
Killinger,
Wilcox, David
or
Icke, all them goddamn Davids, right?
yeah, or Graham Hancock. Like I like the
Michael Tellinger.
Michael Tellinger, but it's not their story to tell. It's our story to tell. So you know what I'm saying? Like I take what I can from them. Like I still watch Ancient Aliens because I see, oh, they're talking about us. Because people just like to get caught up on the aliens only, but like if you watch that show, they're giving a lot of good information. Like the ring that you got, the Ethiopian ring, I found out about that through that show because they was going over how the story, how they built it in one day and all this. And if you peep it, they show us. They're not gonna say these are melanated people, these are black, but they show us. Now it's up to you to catch it.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? So I feel like David Icke does deserve some credit because a lot of things that he was talking about, people was clowning him for back in the day. We is definitely seeing that now. And just like he came to
David Icke put me onto a lot of game. I was able to reorientate my visuals.
Mm-hmm.
When I seen shit, I had already known because I had got information from David Icke books. But I was immersed at that time in the conscious community, so I heard wild shit from Phil Valentine. I heard wild shit from Bobby Hemmett. I was just hearing wild shit from everywhere. My mind was blown in 2000, 2001. That was my full-fledged paradigm shit. I was like, wait, what? And there was another elder that I met in LA through Sabi called Modog Sirius. He was an elder who came up through the entertainment. He used to dance with Bette Midler, some crazy shit like that back in the days, but he had immersed himself into all of this, alien research, and he was the first one that gave me David Icke books, VCR tapes from remote viewing, and just told me about Coast to Coast Radio. Right?
Oh yeah, with George
Took
Norrie.
me to
Yeah.
Venice Beach where I seen a reptilian. That's a whole nother story. Because people not ready for shit like that.
Nah, they think it goes over the head. It goes over the
story
head.
itself. I'm like, I'm gonna have a book come out when I'm no longer here. It'll tell. It'll be like the great adventures of BluePill, because I done seen so much shit and experience. Like, this shit is so boring, but now it's getting a little bit more exciting.
Because
I'm seeing things,
starting to come in real life. It's starting to, well, not real life, but
I'm like, yeah, like it took 10 years for this shit to catch up. And it almost feel like 30 years of learning about it. Because I was reading Illuminati books in the early 1990s.
oh wow.
When we were still in the streets, you had access. They would have Illuminati 666, Leviathan, you get the shit from Dr. York and all of that. And I had grew up on comic books, so this was right up my alley. I'm like, who's to say it's not possible?
That's another reason why I was so accepting to the information, because I grew up on X-Men, Fantastic Four, so it was just like, oh yeah, of course there's aliens. I've been watching aliens all my life. And after I don't want to say not past the David Icke and the Ancient Aliens, that's when I found Hidden Colors, like in 2013, somewhere around there. That's when I found Hidden Colors, and that's when I fully immersed myself into the conscious community and all that. And I spent a lot of time under Professor Kaba. So
that's the OG.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time under Professor Kaba. Matter of fact, the
you
book
gonna learn something. Yeah.
The book that he wrote, Consciousness, Spirituality Before Religion. The book that he used to take the notes. Hold on one second. Where is it going? I can't find it. And I'm looking for. Oh, here it goes. Right here. This book. I brought two of these, and I gave him the other one, and that's when he started to write his book for that. Because I was in his class for like 4 months straight, and that's when just boom, breaking out all the Greeks, the Romans, the Moorish history, how we was here first. Just give me all the history. And just like, oh,
They said drop the name of the book.
huh?
People, they really be wanting books, book recommendations on these lives.
Oh yeah, spirituality before religion.
All right, that book that you just held up, what book was that?
Oh no, this is just a notebook. This is like a legit notebook.
Okay.
This is honestly, this is like the first chapters of this is like the first 3 chapters of Dr. Kaba's whole book right here. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, this is just a notebook. This is just a notebook right here. This is just a notebook. But the other book I was talking about was Spirituality Before Religion by Professor Kaba. And I just tapped into Billy Carson's book,
Compendium.
Tablets.
Yeah, I got that. That book is crazy.
Yeah, I just tapped it. Like, I just got it like the other day.
Shout out to Billy Carson.
Fact. Shout out to Billy Carson. Oh, that imagination. Oh, my goodness. Oh, man. Listen. Got my joint popping, man. I got my heat press. I got my printers. I got my T-shirts about to start popping it off. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, I actually wanted to talk to you in 19 Keys about that. I'd rather talk about that off privately. But yeah, I definitely, you know, especially with the black sand and all that, I got some ideas. I'd rather talk to y'all about that privately.
So we might be winding up. I think we probably got 5 or something minutes left. So.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
How you want to rock it? You got any more questions that need to be addressed?
I think we pretty much addressed all of. Do you have any? Oh, matter of fact, yes. You put up Dog Star Hip Hop, but you said there was another book that you should read so you can really be able to tap into that information. What was that book that you should read before Dog Star Hip Hop? I think it was like by a white lady.
No, somebody else put that up. They was talking about Dion Fortune. She has a very basic introductory book to Kabbalah.
Okay.
I said that she's not gonna write from.
She's not gonna tell my story. Yeah.
Another David Icke situation.
Yeah, and
they're gonna mask your involvement, right, in these particular systems by calling you something else. You're gonna get thrown with it by you know, they use blinds. So I wouldn't highly recommend, you know, but get your hands on whatever you could get your hands on initially, but come back to the source. You know what I'm saying? A.A. Rashid with the Dog Star Hip Hop, he's the Kabbalah guy.
Any more book recommend? That book was called Compendium of the Emerald Tablets. I would say tap into the Metanetta volume 1 and 2. I would suggest tapping into what other books have I been tapping into lately? I'm not gonna lie. My last book that I've been reading is Compendium of the Emerald Tablets. I'm currently reading, Professor Cobb's book. I'm going to interview him next week, so I just tapping back into his book. But I would suggest, family, if you can, go on there and try to save as many Bobby Hemmett YouTube videos as possible. I'm lucky because I have the notes from when there was in full version. I have those notes still, so I can go back to that. But the videos, oh yeah, they're gone. They're gone. They're gone.
In all prophecy. Especially the ones from 2020. I mean, 2000. His 20-year prophecies about now, he's speaking directly to what's going on.
To the foreign police being here on land? I almost threw my notebook across the joint because I was reading it, and then I'm watching the news. I'm just like, this is what the master teacher was talking about, and we're seeing it live. I'm just like, come on, man. Y'all better give this man his flowers. Family, give Bobby him his flowers. Dr. Phil Valentine, brother Blue, brother Red, give them their flowers because all the stuff that they spoke about months ago are happening right here and now.
Years ago.
You know what I'm saying? Years ago. We didn't even tap into the 44. We didn't even tap into the 44, fam. What you was talking about 44 with like 14, 15 months before Jay-Z came out with the 44? Probably even longer.
No. My first lecture on the 44 was November 29th, 2009.
Oh, man. See, I'm late.
Blueprint 322. I mean, we use Jay-Z as a reference point in our lecture because that's when the whole Illuminati and hip-hop conversation started. Mm-hmm. So we had to get in there and explain to them what it really was about, which was OTO, which was Aleister Crowley and all of those sect, fraternities that they got in the music industry.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not the Illuminati. That's something distinctively different.
Yeah, that's just confused, more science.
Yeah, I mean,
So I guess the last thing we can leave with family. You can check Richie Moon link in the bio. You can go ahead and get you some gold. You can go ahead and get you some of that smart moss. You can go ahead and get you some of this silver. You know what I'm talking about? I got the crowns oil on the way. You know what I'm saying? Richie Moon, go tap in that link. It's my birthday, so show some love. Listen, I ain't asking for no cash app. No, listen.
Come on, son. It's your born day.
Go tap into this. This is what I want people to do. Go tap into this. You know what I'm saying? Yo, give these brothers they flowers because they deserve it. They're speaking prophecy. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? A lot of y'all was asking me questions. All this was the information that I got from these brothers. Straight up. Bobby Hemmett, Dr. Phil Valentine, Professor Kaba, Red Pill, Blue Pill, KT the Arch Degree. Shout out to Mama Pill, who does not get enough credit. Shout out to Mama Pill. You know what I'm saying? But I definitely want to be able to talk to you and Keys on a private note about some of the Black Standard stuff and some of the ideas of that. So if that could possibly happen, I would definitely. I think I got some good ideas to bring to the table for that.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. We definitely can touch base and tap in and you know what I'm saying, see where we can take this thing. And yeah, shout out to Unity as well. Right?
Oh yeah, download the app. What we at 20,000? Like 20,000? Like 20,000?
Yeah, we got the Black Standard that's on Unity as well. You know what I'm saying? And it's doing amazing things and we continue to make headway, with these initiatives, feeding these families and surveying and scoping out what land would be susceptible for us to build our own thing on, our own autonomous zone. You seeing in Seattle what the shit looks like, right? White boys are showing you everything that you need to know about yourself right now. You need to get pad and pen out and take notes.
The allies
is running circles, right? They're showing you, right? But where's the allied, right? Why is the Moors not allying with the RBG? Why is the Hebrews not allying with the Muslims? Nobody's coming to the table. It's not imperative and important enough for anybody to bury the hatchet to be like, yo, I'm ready to talk. You know what I'm saying? We can be stronger together. What are our collective goals and ambitions? Like, why is that not happening amongst us?
I agree. Like, I'm glad
allies is getting shit done.
I'm glad that you're having a conversation with the Moors because I feel like that information now is so pertinent right now. We're dealing with our nationality and people are starting to realize we're dead in the
powerful. I'm putting together a whole Moorish council so we can in this community. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not gonna get nobody to walk with you or see what you're saying if you smack them in the face first and then you talking about love afterwards. It's just creating a lot of antagonism, and this could have been the Moors' shining moment.
It should be. It should be.
But it hasn't been.
But
right? They carpet blanking in the whole planet with Black Lives Matter. I don't fuck with that shit.
But I don't fuck with that shit. The Black Standard. The Black Standard. Yeah.
So we're gonna talk about it, right? Shout out to the Moors. Shout out to every group, every organization, every contingency. Dig deeper though. Dig deeper, y'all. You know what I'm saying? But look, this live is about to cut. I gotta cut it before they cut me because I can't save it after that.
Facts. Yo, thank you, brother. Thank you, brother BluePill. I appreciate it. If we can talk, me and you in 19s, probably. You know what I'm saying? I'm actually about to tap in with your brother. You know what I'm saying? Family, tap the link in the bio. Gold water. Thank you, Blue. Thank you, Master Teacher.
For sure. Peace, love, and light, y'all.
You already know.